Yeah, my name's Paul Kane. I'm from Chelsea, Quebec, Canada. We brought the Glenelg Hot Rod down this year. Last year was just a poster, but damned if I was going to be a poster boy again this year. So we brought the boat. It's running a 1967 283 cubic inch Chevy V8. Basically, it's running the Glenwood exhaust manifolds, the risers, cam drive water pump, the whole kit, the cover, and it's got a bunch of oil coolers that you guys also supplied, and a whole bunch of other parts that came from all over the place. Unfortunately, some of the parts didn't show up, and we weren't able to finalize it and get it in the water. But we can guarantee you that it'll be in the water next year. The driveline in this thing, it's running a flywheel forward 283, hooks into a Velvet Drive 1-to-1 transmission, and then it's hooking through a Casal 15% B drive, and it'll be turning Mencken's 11.5 by 15 pitch prop. It's got a complete digital marine ignition system, and the thing should fly if everything is picked right. Can't wait to get it in the water.
So I hear you had this thing full of snow on the way here, huh? Is that right, Paul?
There was light snow when I hit Bruce's place, so that's partly true. But you know Bruce, I mean, so I guess he'll be getting a bit of payback at some point in time. I'll have to choose my moment for that one.
Tell me about your seat.
This is just the base for the driver's seat. It's sitting on a GM van base. We stripped it out of the van and basically lightened up a lot of the components. It has about 8 inches of horizontal travel. There's about 3 inches of vertical travel at the front, and of course it has a total tilt back. And there's a sister for it. I left it at home, it wasn't quite ready. It still needs about 2 more coats of clear. But the idea behind this is basically do the webbing, and basically there'll be a slip-on cushion with upholstery on it, and that'll be held in with a bunch of snaps. So you'll be able to tear the upholstery out at night or whatever and basically leave it in the rain and not worry about it. And between the deck battens here, we've fabricated a molded flotation system, totally removable. It's laminated on both sides with 4-ounce deck cloth. Basically, we have roughly 5.5 cubic feet. Most of the foam will be spaced. We'll leave a space in here for aeration, so basically we've got these little plywood washers in here, so basically nothing is touching any frames, and shouldn't have any rot or mildew problems. When you're building a boat in Canada, basically we have to follow certain construction standards if you want to get the vessel registered. Mm-hmm. Without the flotation foam, you will not be able to run it through the registration process. A couple of other little features here. We have a Malibu bow light. It's a pop-up window. Part of the problem with bow lights is as soon as you pick a certain model, it dates the boat, ties it to a certain period. This one is it's very contemporary, but basically it still fits with the retro 55 look, which is what I'm after here. We'll be adding a couple of pop-up pleats on it, try to keep it fairly clean. I guess at some point in time when we get around to the deck, it'll mostly be painted. We'll be shooting for a perfect paint job, the elusive perfect paint job, and there'll probably just be a 1.5 inch inlay that will be rabbited into around the shear line, basically just a bit of accent. The whole thing is now sitting on a Glenelg 2100 trailer. We fabricated most of that ourselves, and so far it's been pretty good. We put 1,200 miles on it, rolled it out of the shop, and we're here. Handles really well, and I think it's a good match to the boat. Excellent trailer.
So I got the basic bobtail. I wound up getting free.
Okay, so you're going to tell me about the rudder?
Yeah, it's another Glenelg piece. Basically, it's also running a strut, Glenelg strut. And, it's set up with a full hydraulic steering system. It'll be a hydraulic tilt helmet. All those pieces are just about ready to go in. When we get home, we'll be finishing up all the loose ends. The steering system is a little special on this because we fabricated a slave tiller arm Normally this cylinder would be mounted from this point on top of the exhaust system, and it would tie to the central tiller here. But that looked a little messy, so we just shifted it over. We fabricated a new tiller, put a pivot pin in here, and basically we had a machine shop fabricate this drag link to connect the two tillers. So basically a lot of custom parts in it. And that's connected to the helm by 2 3/8 copper tubes. Very simple to wire, to plumb up, and unlimited speed potential. It's a very safe system, and it makes for an easy install. A little expensive, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Should be good. Unfortunately, the aluminum valve covers that I ordered and the new flame arrestor didn't come in on time. So we'll have to save those goodies for next year. L-ring bushings. And it's got fine threaded studs going right through, so it's tied up in double shear. So basically it's next to impossible for those bolts to fail. The problem with this thing is when it's turning high RPM, if one of those mounts ever break, basically all the parts between the V-drive and the engine will start flying out of there pretty freaking quick. Of course, you have a 12-gallon fuel tank sitting here, same thing on the other side. And that'll be covered with a little bench seat. If you have any mechanical failures in there, I wouldn't want to be around when that happens. So basically when you're assembling the thing, you have to make sure that it's bulletproof. And of course you have to make sure that the parts are well built, and it has to be properly welded. Same goes for the V-drive braces that we put in here. Normally most people would put the braces on the opposite side. We were tight for space. We wanted to put the battery in there and the oil filters in here, so we just flipped it over. And basically those webs are on the same axis as the thrust line for the propeller. So when that propeller starts pushing this thing, normally that V-drive could move back and forth about 1/4 of an inch when it's under load. With those plates in there to make sure that it doesn't. So that maintains all the geometry in your drive line, so you'll be able to spin this into the stratosphere, and it should be pretty safe. So that's what we do in the wintertime up in Canada. We work on boats and do a bit of snowmobiling, and that's why most of this stuff is not done. Probably spent more time snowmobiling last winter than working on the boat. But we'll get it this year. And next year you'll be able to see the deck, the interior, and hopefully a new fender for this side of the trailer.